Well, am I a liability?
Yes.
We talk everything under the sky except for product management.
Well, am I a liability?
Yes.
Personal also बताना है क्या? How do
She's the best advisor. She keeps giving me advice.
Well, am I a liability?
Yes.
I have always felt I have a good sense of humor. No?
Yes.
Thanks.
Brutally honest, I think once you have kids, you will never want to not have kids. Okay. Yeah.
So my name is Preetha. I work in InsurTech company, startup in Bangalore, as cliche as it gets. Born and brought up in Pune, I'm a typical defense kid, if you will, and have moved to Bangalore in 2019. So been here for the past 5 years or so, and been loving the culture here.
Hi, so I'm Ravneet, and I have been in Bangalore since the last 6 years as well. And originally I hail from Amritsar, Punjab, but born and brought up in Delhi. So on a professional side, like I am a techie, so a developer, and currently I'm into the crypto and DeFi space, so working for a European company.
I'm Srikanth. I head the product for one of the insurance verticals. I've been in the mobility insurtech space for like good about 10 years now. I have a master's in communications from Stockholm, Sweden, and then before that I also have an engineering degree from Anna University. That's pretty much, and I'm a very good tennis player. I am ranked in the top 100 in the 35 plus category in India. So tennis is my passion. Both my kids, 12 years and 7 years, pursue tennis, and as of now I'm their coach as well. So that's my passion, and also I want my kids to really grow big in tennis.
I work for product, again, build products for InsurTech, largely on the consumer experience side of things. Like really love solving problems which is directly impacting customers. Fortunately, I've been part of both large companies and startups and built some really purposeful products like health tech, InsurTech, like fintech, like all spaces. So yeah, grateful that I've had such opportunities and some fantastic leaders to work with.
We have been in Bangalore for like 10 years now, since 2014. Before that, for 4 years, we were in Stockholm in Sweden. Okay. Before that, in Chennai for the 24 years. We were born and brought up in Chennai.
So we would love to hear the story how you guys met.
Tell.
Okay. So I think we met 6 years ago when I moved to Bangalore and like was working for a startup. I did not, like, Preetha was also there in the same company, but I did not know that she was my HR. But we kind of like started the conversation on some activities, like sports activities in the company and all, which is ironical because she is not into sports at all. But yeah, that's how we started talking, and then very soon she left the company, and then yeah.
That is not required. No blow.
Yeah, but I think like after that, just we started meeting, and like I think very soon after we started dating. So
मतलब तुम पराठा हो क्योंकि पराठे को अचार पसंद keeping that, but take it. But this is how the story goes?
Yes.
100%.
This is exactly how the story goes.
100 on 100. Great job.
I know Divya since 12th standard. Oh. So that's where it all started. We did very similar things differently, right? After 12th, we both did engineering, but in different colleges. Then we both worked for a IT services company, but different services company. Then we both did masters in Sweden, but in different colleges. And finally, we both are again in mobility, insurtech space, but in different companies again. So we have always been together, but different.
How does a normal day look like? When do you guys start? When do you guys end? How does it go about usually?
So one thing that stands very clear for us is while we are together, it's a lot of quality time we spend, but at least on weekdays, as soon as the day begins, it's to each our own. Like we have very defined days for ourselves. Okay. So mornings are very different for me as compared to him. So for me, it is getting into the thick of work and getting things in place, going to work. I work in a company that calls us to office 5 days a week. So getting ready, moving to work is where I am. Whereas he's in a remote job. So his day, as opposed to me, ends late at night. So for him, the day also starts late. So we really don't get into each other's lives on a work day per se. But at the end of the day, we also make sure that we don't get work or any of the professional or noises outside of our individual lives come into that. And we make sure we spend good amount of time together in interests that we share.
Our day starts as early as like 5 a.m. in the morning because you need to be out there training fitness. So my elder kid wakes up at 5:30. We have a fitness trainer with him, but I stay with him to make sure that he leverages the full potential of that training session because everything happens remote. So those are the kind of I would not call it sacrifices, but those are the kind of things that you will have to do to make sure that you are able to provide that. And then I have blocked out time on my office calendar between a couple of hours in the afternoons just to go train with him, play with him, make sure that he's fundamentally doing well, because fundamentals are very important in this kind of sport. So you will have to make those kind of sacrifices and also make sure that you don't compromise on your work as well. So those are the kind of things that we typically do.
I don't wake up at 5:30. He does this. I need at least a 45-minute more nap. I wake up slightly later.
It's still a lot early for us, but
Yeah, 6:30 types is when like I can actually like wake up.
and then how do you go?
Yeah, and after that I actually head straight to the kitchen. I have to make sure that it's like all athletic people in the house. Everybody gets their nutrition. Everybody gets like all the colors for the day and the protein for the day. So large part of my morning is in the kitchen, like making sure like we all carry our right boxes. And then, of course, I head to work. If I get time if I can wrap up the kitchen faster, that's when I go and play some badminton games. Typically, I try to do that 3 to 4 times a week.
How do you guys used to spend your weekends before or your free time before? And what do you guys do now?
My weekends were typically mostly trainings, coming back, resting. And when I met her, yes, before kids, we did have some more free time. We used to catch up. That's how the whole thing spanned out. But after kids, it is, to be brutally honest, yes, it is difficult to spend time with each other. But of late, we have started carving out a lot of time, not a lot of time, but at least once in a few weeks, just to go out on a dinner date or probably go out for a weekend and come back. So we have started making those kind of attempts. But yes, it is an effort that you will have to make, right? So we started feeling it, so we have started making that effort of late.
Okay. And does the, first you answer, ma'am. I think this is closer.
Yeah, there were days where we just used to shut the door, didn't even care whether we've locked it or whatever, and just shut the door and left. That's how we spent our time, either doing our masters in Europe. And after kids, you can't do that. You have to make sure that everything is right. You feel largely more responsible.
Yeah.
And, and over a period of time, you just get used to it. You don't complain about it. But you just have to see, if you have to spend time together, it doesn't have to be well planned. For me, even watching our children play alongside with him, just sharing how the day was is good enough. Similarly, going down for a walk a post-dinner walk.
Right.
These are some of the small things that I think, small moments that we create and just make sure that we spend time along. Like I said, we have a lot of people with us living, so we have to do that so that we don't lose touch. So that is very important.
I think it's mostly binge watching, if we are at home and just spending some time together watching something on the TV or something like that. Else it's either just go out for some outings over the weekend or for a movie or something like that. And yeah, that's mostly it.
Has this decision, impacted any way your career choices or, financial growth or something like that? Has it helped it? Or is it nahi hai, chalta hai?
Yeah, I think this decision is if it would have been the opposite, then it would have impacted our career or finances, stuff like that. But right now it's pretty much on the same trajectory that it should have been. So, and we like it the way it is. And as she said, this is something that we haven't spoken about too much, and we definitely don't want to like plan it, talk it, something like this. And right now where we are, like we both are enjoying. So, yeah.
Yes, career aspirations a little bit. Like I did get offers to sort of move to Europe alone initial days, where I gave some interviews, I did clear it, but I decided not to go because that would mean that Divya would have to stay with Akshay alone, and then also Arjun. Arjun was also there. So yes, I did cut back and all that, but I think India is we are the fourth largest economy now. I think there are enough opportunities in India. So I don't think I have really sacrificed anything there. I'm happy doing what I am right now. And it also gives me the space to, work with my kids, be there for my kids. And also, career-wise, I think I'm doing pretty okay, right? So I don't think there are any challenges there, right? I think I'm quite...
What about you?
Maybe, yeah, there was a point where I was continuously working for startups after both my children, because my younger one was about, I think, 3.5 years, and I was immersed in work. You know how startups are, right? Like, it did take a little bit toll on the balance of work and life. So I did make a conscious move to switch to a slightly larger company where you get balance, and I found it too. And it was post-COVID, so there was enough work from home.
Right.
We were quite grateful for the time where I could really, again, have a little bit more time for myself and for the children. And fortunately, the company that I work with also has a really great culture. They promote work-life balance. You have your time. You're able to also go back home with a lot of mental peace because that's very important, the place you work.
Would you say that your relationship is stronger because you guys are not at that stage of kids yet or parenthood yet?
I'll talk about this a little differently. So for us, knowing where each of us stand on a particular phase of life is very important. So even when we were dating, it was very, the courtship period really helped us understand who we are as people, what is our ugliest side, what is our happiest side. It's very different for me as compared to where he is. And I think right now also, even after marriage, we are at a place where we are getting to know each other, how we react in stress situations, familial stress, or pressures that we kind of face in our day-to-day lives. So that kinds of, we're still figuring each other out. So in that figuring out, we also get to understand, I do get to understand how he would be as a revelation for me has been how you are as a cat dad, for example. That is something I figured out only after marriage, because that's when he started spending a lot of time with Mogu. So it's a lot of figuring out in the process, and we take time to do that. And there are times when we come together and talk about that, hey, I observed this about you, and I see that you do these particular things very nicely. You handle these particular situations very well. And I think that's the same for you, because I remember we had those conversations. But
after the first kid, your bonds became more stronger, and the second kid actually concreted it. Do you guys think that?
I would definitely say yes. The bonds definitely become stronger. Does that mean that you get enough time away from the kids? No. That is something that we are trying to carve out of late. So that would...
I think it's completely two different phases. The elder one, of course, you're a very young parent, you're figuring a lot of things. Fortunately, I had my father-in-law. I could just mirror whatever he told me he did for Srikanth, or what he has seen his dad do. Is easier. And once you've done that, because there was a 5-year gap, the younger one is largely attached to the elder one, rather than he doesn't seek, we are not his first point of seeking support. He looks upon to his brother, whatever he does, who his group of friends is, whatever sport he plays, how he handles things. It's just so I feel after you've had one kid, you have done a certain job. The second kid just kind of mirrors.
As soon as you get married, you have kids, and you are at a stage where you do not. So do you think they're missing out something?
So there is a lot of, I can resonate with what you just asked, because every person in my friend circle right now is dealing with not dealing, but they are in the joy of having kids and figuring out their life accordingly. A lot of that to me feels overwhelming. For example, I was supposed to have a girls' day out with my girlfriends who have kids. And I saw the groundwork that they have to do at the back end to make sure that happens. And for me, I was secondhand overwhelmed about that. I wouldn't say that I think I am at a better place or my friends are we are at very different places. And if I have to change roles, I definitely would be much more overwhelmed if I was on the other side of the.
Do you think people without kids is missing something very important in life? What would that be? Don't tell me kids.
I don't want to be judgmental here. I mean, that's an India couple's
Their choice,
decision.
yeah.
It's their choices. So, I would definitely say yes. They will miss, because unless you have kids, you will not know what you are missing. So, I would definitely say yes, missing. But at the same time, I would not get judgmental. It's a decision that you want to make for yourself.
Right. But do you guys think that, having kids, in this particular scenario, in this particular world, in metro cities, is actually a lot more harder, a braver step to take?
It's a calculated step to take. I wouldn't lie about that. We've actually, I remember recently we had a conversation with another one of our single friends, and we were talking about how we see kids in our community grow up, like in our society, and what are the things that parents these days do very differently from what our parents would have done. That in itself, I think that requires a lot of prep work mentally as compared to, I mean, a lot of people would say financially, and I don't deny having financial stability to have a well-rounded life for your kid whenever you plan to have that. But mental prep to understand how you deal with the nuances that come with being in a city, for example, like Bangalore, where you are hard-coded to be very focused towards your career. There's a little you're very programmed or hardwired to have your own personal time. It's a very different mechanism in which people work in Bangalore, and I'm sure many people know of that, especially for people like us who work in startups. All the more for people like him who work in a very non-conventional environment like crypto and things like that. There's a lot of mental prep that goes in. So if and when any person kind of wants to go into that state of mind, I think more than anything else, the mental prep of knowing how you will go about certain few things from the ugliest to the happiest moment is something probably is worth discussing as well.
The cost of bringing up kids in a metro, it does, I will not say it takes a toll on you, but you'll have to plan your finances correctly, right? There cannot be any extra spending, there cannot be any lavish spending. And especially when kids are also training professionally in a sport, there is definitely an additional burden on, because there is coaching, then there is supplements that come around that, right? You'll have to have your own fitness training, your nutritionist, the whole ecosystem has to come together.
How do you handle long-term planning as such? Have you guys thought of retirement? Have you guys thought of emergencies? Suddenly one day something happened like COVID, and suddenly maybe your work did not work out, your work did not work out. What is the thought process going around that?
So by planning, it's more about where you you will be at your life. But on a financial front, I do believe that everyone should plan, and we do so too. So we recently purchased a house. We slowly reached that stage, but other than that, we have other ways of saving, investing, stuff like that. So, and I do feel that everyone should do that. And when it comes to the worst case rainy day scenarios, for example, we purchased the house, I increased my life insurance cover. Right. So definitely you should spend some time and think about in order to protect your family. Right now you're living a lifestyle because your salary is X amount, but you also need to make sure that your family can continue to do so if you're not there. And even if you are there, then maybe you're not in the same job. So definitely that needs some planning, and that's more of a day-to-day, month by month, year by year effort. You won't reach there overnight, but yeah, you need to start taking step towards doing that.
Right. But God forbid, just in case, what was the calculation which you had in your mind when you did this, life insurance thing? As you said, you are, getting some X amount right now. And based on that, how did you plan? What is the kind of cover you have it right now?
So right now it's very simple. Like the minimum is that my liability should be covered, and over and above that, like whatever responsibilities I might have towards my parents, my younger sister, that should be like covered. And let's say like in future, like the more responsibilities you have, like the more number of times you need to reassess such things. So that's my main idea behind it. And like then of course you can't 100% like basically protect or like make a foolproof plan, but definitely to some extent you can.
Right. She was not in your calculation.
I think by that he means he can't account for my frivolous spending. Rest everything he plans for.
Previously, people used to say that, there are two strategies, right? You either put all the eggs in one basket and take care of that, or you split your eggs in multiple baskets. But I believe that you have to split your eggs in multiple baskets and take care of all the baskets equally well. So what we do is, yes, we do as salaried employees, we do invest in all the basic government schemes, like you have your NPS, PPF and all that, where you can do that, so that you save for the rainy day once we retire. And I also am very conscious that I don't invest in things which I typically don't understand. For example, I don't understand the stock market too well. Basic understanding is there, so I don't put much there. But what I do understand is how real estate works, right? So we try to invest in real estate. That doesn't mean my friend runs a financial company, so I've given him some of my savings to make sure that he runs it, because I don't understand that too well. So we have basically split our income. So there is a short-term cash flow in case you need through rentals and through all the mutual funds that we have invested in. But we are also saving up for the rainy day, right? Through all the government schemes that are available. So these are broadly the two things that I look at.
Okay.
And recently, we also started looking at gold, because with all the geopolitical tensions that are happening across the world, even the dollar is being, we want to de-risk from the dollar as well. So I think gold is one option that we could look at. And off late, I've started looking at that more seriously.
What do you want to leave as a legacy? Like, what do you want to leave this world with? सोचा ही नहीं है सर अब
Okay, so being a Bengali, I have a very different thought about legacy. So when I was growing up, my mother, both of them my parents have been high achievers. Like he calls them 0.1%, because my father was a defense scientist into the highly covert things is what he did there. Mother completely different into playback singing, very towards creative and all of that. Okay, and then there is me. But what I felt was a legacy from them is that in my day-to-day conversations, there are several moments when I'll bring instances up that have been foundational for me in my growing years, which I didn't know at that point, but they are now. I remember my dad used to constantly tell me that, remember one thing, all the money that I have is going to go to this one old age home. There's nothing for you. You have to make your own lifestyle for yourself. You have to be what you want to be, and don't depend on or don't look back thinking that, I have something to fall back on. Definitely, he did keep that for me, but he made sure that I don't think of it as my first plan, if you will. For me, those developmental instances are far bigger than any other legacy my parents could have kept. How I land up thinking, how I land up reacting to certain situations that come up, how I land up explaining a few things when our back is against the wall, when we face crisis situations. All of that comes from those instances. I go back to those instances, and I think I would love to have that kind of instances for my future generations, if you will, if I have to leave a legacy.
Great. What about you?
I think legacy for future generations, that's something okay, maybe I can resonate with that. But for me, it's more about like right now, of course, you can't leave a very huge like legacy or an impact because like you might not be at that stage financially or so. But from where we come, like it's more about being a good human being and like, doing good deeds and giving back to the society in whatever small ways you can.
I don't know if it's legacy, but we thoroughly enjoy traveling, right? We find that the children also get motivated when they see like new places, new culture, like we travel like across the world. Wherever we go, we like basically pack them and we have our own bucket list places to go. And we try to plan places which maybe it's watching a match. It's also like exploring a tribal village. So they find a lot of inspiration, motivation, and they have a special kind of like, kindness towards nature, animals, the ecosystem. My elder one and younger one, both of them enjoy like, maybe taking a stroll through the ocean, finding all the sea animals there. Like that's what they did last trip, which was in Andaman. So I think those are small things that we try and do so that they're constantly motivated with life. That's something that they need to not lose, right? Like you're always motivated. You find joy in trying new things, and in whatever you're doing, you're happy about what you're doing, not because you're told that's what you're supposed to do, because you really genuinely feel that's what you want to do. So those are some of the things that we do so that they stay motivated and look forward to things.
I keep saying families that travel together stick together. So
that's your thing. You will always keep traveling, keep exploring, and you'll be happy.
because when you travel is when if you realize you often talk a lot. Even though you are all staying in the same house, you don't often communicate much, right? Because you go about doing your own stuff. But when you're traveling, there's way more communication that happens. And so I believe that families
Less
that travel,
screen time,
less
like
screen time.
food.
Because in the house, you have a set pattern. When you're traveling, you don't have a set routine or a pattern, right? So I believe that sort of brings the closeness even further. So we keep going on some 4-people trips.
Great, fantastic. So yeah, that was it, guys. Thank you so much.
That was pretty not as difficult as what I expected.
It was a very chill competition. You guys did great, but a good job, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Actually, I enjoyed it.
So thank you so much, guys. Both of you guys have been lovely with this entire thing. So well done. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Iran.